Good morning. It's a wet day here on Dartmoor. Yesterday it was sunny. I went with a walking group and we did like about nearly 12 miles. And Dartmoor in the winter on a sunny day is a fantastic place to be. We weren't on the High Moor, which I think is the best place, but it was pretty good. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I've got 2 points to talk about. Firstly, Elon Musk's contention that there's a high probability that we're actually living in a simulation and that there's maybe layers of that simulation. Yeah, that simulation that we live in is itself a simulation and so on. And he gets this idea from video games and the fact that they become more and more like real life so that you can't distinguish them eventually. So are we actually just in one of them? And there's also these various philosophical, scientific ideas, well, coming out of science, that really we're living in a hologram, some kind of projection of something. Now, I think, and they're similar kind of ideas, and I think they're onto something, but they're not true. And the reason is that across the world, amongst indigenous societies, they know that this world is dreamt into being by consciousness. Or, as the writer Patrick Harper calls it, soul. I quite like that idea because consciousness almost makes it like this cold object, yeah, that is potentially amenable to scientific investigation. And it's not, it's soul. Yeah, it has feeling, it has poetry, it has imagination, it's not definable. And it is subjective in the positive sense, yeah? That subjectivity that connects us to the whole universe. All there is subject in that sense. All is connected. And this becomes more obvious, I think, maybe as you get older, yeah? Because the world is less compelling. It's like, what was all that about? Yeah? Why, why was I doing all that? Why did I feel I had to spend my whole life proving I'm smart or whatever I did? What was all that about? So, you start to withdraw from it and go into spirit. And you also realize, well, in 100 years' time, nobody's going to have any personal memory of me. And for me, the world will have vanished. It's gone. It's like a bubble. It seems so real now. So if you have a strong inward aspect to you or center to you, in a way it's obvious that the world is dreamt into being, and humans always understood this. You don't have to have God. You can speculate about what the dreamer is that does it and have different ideas. Why not? Dogma's the enemy of experience. I just invented that. Where am I going with this? Yeah. So we understand that. Probably a lot of you understand that or have an inkling of it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. But the scientific mindset finds it very hard. It is extroverted. It sees the world as real and literal and all there is, and consciousness as a sort of offspring, an epiphenomenon of it instead of the central thing. And there's no point trying to talk them into it. In a way, it's obvious that consciousness is primary. Yeah. Even if you just look at the brain, it constructs our experience. Our experience isn't actually what's going on. It's just a construction that works. And we all make the same construction as humans because we have the same type of brain. So we think it's what reality is. It's like it's what works. So they have this literal experience of the world. And in a way, they have to. That's what makes them good scientists. You have to be able to take it really, really seriously and think that the cause of everything is to be found in this investigation of matter. You have to have a passion for that to be a good scientist. But at the same time, it leaves you metaphysically one-sided. And that's how it is. And so, but at the same time, I think people like Elon Musk, they sense there's something profoundly awry with this literal interpretation of the universe. And so they come up with ideas like the hologram or the simulation, yeah, which correspond to new technologies. They describe it in terms of technology, yeah, in the same way that we describe the brain in terms of information and being like a computer. We use the technologies of the day to try and describe reality, but really it's more subtle than that. So I was going to talk about something else as well, but I'll leave it for this time. This is enough for one video. Yeah. They're onto something with the hologram and the simulation. They're trying to approach that innate sense we have that the world is continually dreamt into being, which is obvious, as I say, if you have that sort of inner orientation. But it's not to them. You see it with Richard Dawkins. Yeah, he sees there's a problem with consciousness. He sees that his philosophy is that the world is deterministic, but his experience is that we have choice. And the interviewer goes, well, that's a contradiction. It's a profound contradiction. Don't you worry at that. He goes, no, I leave that to the philosophers. So they can intellectually see there's a problem, but it doesn't interest them. They don't really think in that way philosophically. Yeah, but some of us do. Okay, bye for now.